Hi, good morning. This is Brian with Fantasy Boom talking about draft for 6/8/2018. Haven't done a draft video in a couple weeks because of my work schedule, but with draft, I like to really do my research. It's not like NBA where you can just kind of look at it and come up with your lineup. You got to do some research for MLB. If you haven't played draft before, it's a snake draft format, much like ESPN or Yahoo, 30 seconds between picks. Check the description of this video, click the link. With your first deposit, you can get started with a free $3 entry. So this is who I've got for today. I really like Trevor Bauer as my number one pitcher, and then Garrett Cole. I'm not necessarily selecting both of these guys or either of these guys first, but I like to put my pitchers at the top for the sake of organization. Today, my draft board is Jose Ramirez, Michael Brantley, Mike Trout, Tommy Pham, Jose Altuve, Francisco Lindor, and Albert Pujols. So I did a head-to-head against a buddy, and I actually got Pujols in that one. He was very confused by it. And here's the thing. I want to avoid anyone who's going to get a zero. And maybe he does get a zero. I don't know that. But in a small sample size this season, he's had a good pitching matchup. And his history, I think 29 at bats against that pitcher, he's done very well. Also, I wasn't in love with the infielders today with their particular matchups. So I kind of punted and took him on one, but he was only in my free head to head. The couple that I have played so far this morning, he was not a selection. Usually I like to make sure I have four outfielders, four infielders, two pitchers. I was okay with three outfielders today because I was very confident that I'm going to get either Ramirez, Trout, or Pham. I was very confident I was going to get two of them, so I wasn't really concerned with trying to get a fourth guy. If you've seen and the reason for this, if you've heard my videos before, if you've seen my videos, I use this terminology a lot. MLB DFS players try to get sexy, they try to get cute. They look at the superstars and say, okay, those are the guys that I want. But as I said, a superstar, if they have a bad pitching matchup, can get you a zero on any given night. Here is an example. The reason I said I knew I was going to get two of the three outfielders I want is because Charlie Blackmon is up there. And I think he's actually the number one rated infielder tonight. I'm sorry, outfielder for draft. Let's look at Charlie Blackmon. In his pitching matchup, has a terrible matchup on paper. He's had 2 hits in 15 at bats. He's struck out 3 times. So that's why I had no interest in Charlie Blackmon today. I understand that he provides a lot of upside, but I did not go with him. For both the drafts I've done so far this morning, I ended up with Garrett Cole, Jose Ramirez, Jose Altuve, Michael Brantley, and Tommy Pham. So I'm really happy with that. In both drafts, my opponent is projected to score 1 point higher than me. I put no stock in draft projections whatsoever. I put a little more stock in them with NBA, but not in MLB at all. So my opponent here, he ended up getting Bauer, which I really wanted. I had very little interest in Todd Frazier today. Francisco Lindor, he's on my draft board. I'm not in love with him today, but I could see why you could take it. I think there's a possibility this game is actually getting rained out, and I really hope it doesn't because it's a juicy matchup, and it's a really juicy matchup for Cleveland today. So hopefully it doesn't because that's going to throw everything off. Then he got Mike Trout and Charlie Blackmon. So in my opinion, Charlie Blackmon is not a good play today, so I had no problem not choosing him. So here's my other opponent. He got real sexy. He took Arenado also, so he's got Blackmon and Arenado. Let's look at Arenado. His pitching matchup: 14 at bats, 2 hits, 3 strikeouts. So he also on paper has a really, really bad matchup. So that's why you can't just go off who draft says who they think you should get. I've done drafts when I was first starting off, and I just picked whoever the best available player was by draft standards, and I would get absolutely destroyed. So you really got to look at the individual matchups. But that is, once again, my draft order for today is my 2 favorite pitchers, Bauer and Cole. Ramirez, Brantley, Trout, Pham, Altuve, Lindor, Pujols. So Again, a little bit of a punt play down there, but he did have 19 fantasy points last game, so it's not out of the realm of possibility for him to have some upside. But that's it for draft today. That is my board. I've been pretty successful this season. We'll see how it does. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.